Sometimes these are good reminders, sometimes they are new ideas, but either way, they are good ways to live below your means when prices are out of control and you're trying to widen that gap between your income and your expenses. These are 35 of my favorite ways to head towards saving more money. They may not all work for you, that's okay. Take what works for you and leave the rest. Something else might work best for someone else other than you. So in this video, we are going to talk about 35 ways to live below your means in order to grow your financial wealth. Number one is to label your leftovers. This can easily be done with one of those little sticky notes, the small ones that you otherwise wouldn't use for anything else because they're so small. Just write what it is that you have, when you made it, and then also if you happen to know an expiration date, put that expiration date on it. Stick it onto the container and put it in the fridge. Things inevitably get shoved to the back of the fridge, and this is one way to save money and remember what leftovers you had and use them before they go bad. Number two is to find cheap, old-fashioned hobbies. We always, these days, want to go for the newest, latest, and greatest thing, and there can be such peace and simplicity and thought put back into some of these old-fashioned hobbies that maybe you saw your parents do or your grandparents do. I'm talking about reading, knitting, crocheting, little puzzles, or even big puzzles. Remember maybe the last time you did this, it could be an experience with a loved one, and just the relaxing part of it, how you were able to shut off your brain and not having it go at 100 miles a minute because you've got all these advertisements in front of you. So embracing these simplistic hobbies are going to help us get back to more simple living. Number three is to organize a neighborhood swap meet or a friend swap meet. What do I mean by this? You could do this with kids' clothes. Obviously, ladies, with cleaning out our clothes, if we've gone up a size or two, or perhaps one of us has had a child and we want to pass on some maternity clothes, or just even home stuff that you're tired of. Create a time when you can get together with neighbors or a group of girlfriends in your neighborhood and do a swap meet. I guarantee you that you will have a lot of fun and you will find a lot of good things. Number four, do a packing lunch challenge. So try this for 1 week. If you're not used to it, here's your challenge. We're going to pack our lunch for 1 week and see how it goes. We're not going to eat out. And if you can do it from there, maybe you try it for 1 month, and then maybe you realize that you actually do like leftovers better than going out and getting a soggy salad. Number five is regarding your budget. I encourage you to make a new budget every month. Yes, perhaps at the beginning of the year, you kind of lay out a master plan of how you want your finances to go for the year. And you indicate during those 12 months, the big expenses that you know are coming up. But this is really going to be more of a refining thing because your months are going to change every month. Obviously, there are different activities that come up, different anniversaries or holidays, but really looking at the month that you're in and planning ahead. Obviously, during maybe the spring or the fall, your utilities bills might be lower because the temperatures are pretty average out. During the summer and the winter, they're going to be higher, so you need to readjust every single month, and this gives you a fresh start and a better idea of what's going to happen and a more realistic budget. Number six is to have a debt payoff visual. This is a great way to keep at the top of your mind what debt you're paying off. For us, we have a picture of a house, and I have drawn lines on it. Our goal is to pay off our mortgage within the next 2 years, and every time we get through another $10,000, we color that off, and it sits on the side of our fridge. It is always there for us. We started out at the bottom and we're already up to the roof line. So hopefully we'll get that all filled in before we know it. Obviously, inflation is dampening our goal of getting there because it's using more of our income to pay for things as they've gone up. However, it's still our goal. Having that there, even if it's a debt payoff. So let's say you have 5 credit cards, then have to print out a picture of 5 jars and have every time you pay off, color in. It's very satisfying to see it rather than just see it once a month. You see it on a regular basis and it keeps it at the front of your mind. Number 7, strive to keep your vehicle for at least 10 years. I know. This was definitely not me when I was younger. I wanted a new vehicle, and I got upside down in my car loans for a very long time. There are vehicles out there that do very well past 10 years. So when we went and purchased our last vehicle, one of the things we looked at was how long do the average owners of this vehicle keep it? And lo and behold, that is one of the vehicles that we got. They keep this vehicle specifically for more than 10 years. So the next time you go to look into a purchase, try to see what you can get, because this will, obviously it's a depreciating value a vehicle is, but the longer you keep it, the more you get out of it. Number 8 is to always have a sewing kit handy. I can't tell you how many times this has come in handy, having one at home, but honestly, this was one of the best things that I would learn as a young child was how to sew. Even when I was in a home ec class in high school, and I think we were making pajama pants was our project when we were learning to sew. Everybody had me making their pajama pants because I was taught how to sew. I'm not nearly as fantastic at it as my mother, but it is a good thing to know the basics. Having a basic sewing kit available to sew up the random holes is just so inevitable it's going to happen. I've even had to call down to a hotel once where I was out of town for a wedding, and the zipper came off of the only dress that I had to wear. Thank goodness they had a sewing kit, and I was able to tie it back on with a little bit of thread. Number 9 is a viewer tip that was just left on one of my videos, and I had to include it because it seems obvious, but it actually is genius, and I hadn't thought of it. And that tip comes from Gwen. She does one subscription streaming service at a time. If you think about it, a lot of people will have multiple streaming services going at once, but they typically are focused on maybe 1 or 2 series at a time. They aren't usually flipping on every single streaming service throughout a week. So why not watch all you can under Netflix, cancel it, next month use the next one? It makes so much sense. Go through and see if maybe you can implement this to save money as well. Now, number 10, talking about television, if you really want to go to the movies, because sometimes it's just nice to have that experience, go to a matinee. The matinees, maybe on a Sunday morning, 11 to 12, are definitely a deal. Number 11 is to have a spending diary. For those who have ever had to track what they've eaten for health reasons, trying to figure out what they might be allergic to, they may have had a food diary where they had to write down everything that they spent. Why not have a spending diary? This is just like tracking your expenses. Having a spending diary is going to do the same thing. It's going to show you where your problem areas are, where you might want to pay a little bit more attention. Number 12, always pay more than the minimum payment. It will add up. This is one thing that you can do when you're trying to get rid of that car loan, when you're trying to pay off your mortgage. We certainly pay more than the minimum payment. When you're doing credit cards and you have credit card debt, definitely try not to just make the minimum payment, because that will keep on spending, and that interest rate is extremely high. Number 13 is to ask a grandparent or someone of an older generation for money advice. Maybe it's even somebody that you admire their spending and saving habits. You would be surprised if you sit down and you genuinely ask any of these older generations or anybody who has had success with their finances. They are absolutely willing to bestow upon you some great tips. It is one of the best things that you can do to learn and to be able to advance your financial success as well. Number 14 is to designate one day a week, same day every week, as a no-spend day. This is Monday. I don't spend any money on Monday. Sorry. You will be surprised how much money you will save. And what will happen is those very similar traits or habits that you develop from just doing that will start to spill over into other days. Number 15 is for when you're doing your meal plan. When you have one particular ingredient, use it for multiple meals. Okay, so when in particular I need to get carrots or celery for something, I will use it in multiple things. Let's say I'm making a soup, I'll use the celery or the carrots. And I'll be honest, usually there's way more carrots and celery in a bunch than my family of 3 needs. So what I will do is then we'll have a side of steamed carrots at another dinner. that week. I will use that same bag of carrots multiple times. You can do this with roast chickens. I've talked about this. If you want to take the chicken and maybe you have it with mashed potatoes and green beans the first night, and then maybe you take a little bit of it and you make a chicken pizza another night, or chicken tacos the following night. Number 16, I did not decide to do, but my husband did. He got tired of, we have these pull-out pantry drawers. He got tired of picking up cans every single time to figure out what they were, so he started writing on top of the can. Again, seems obvious why I didn't do it before, I have no idea, but green beans, say GB, chickpeas, say CP. Write on top of the can what it is. It makes it more visible, and it definitely keeps you from buying duplicates. Number 17, get organized. I promise you, it will save you money. An organized mind and home knows what you have. It is able to properly maintain its things, and you save money as a result. On the flip side, a cluttered mind and a messy home usually boils over into unnecessary spending. Number 18, utilize reserve funds. You might hear these called sinking funds as well. I prefer to call them reserve funds for rainy days when you know they're going to come up, but these are not regular expenses. These are things that you need to plan ahead for. Insurance, vacations, school events, vet visits, etc. List these things out. If they pop up during the year, which they inevitably do, you know when your insurance is due, you know when your taxes are due, you need to save every month. It makes it so much easier than stressing out at the exact time when you need to go and emergency find that chunk of money. If you can divide it up into 12 months, then it makes it so much easier on you. Number 19. This one hit us more recently, and it is buy basic appliances. So, when we moved into this house about 5 years ago, we bought Maytag washer and dryer. Nothing bad about Maytag, but we bought the front load. There was a little bit more advanced electronically. Nothing but trouble over the last 5 years. And it finally went kaput coot real quick. So, you know what we did? We went and bought the basic washer and dryer. I'm talking click, 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 crank, the basics, top load, and I am a happy little camper. These things have advanced as well, but I don't have to worry about all the bells and whistles of things going out. I've even heard from some of you who have said that appliance people tell you, don't buy that other stuff, buy the basic ones. Number 19 is for those of you that love a good sale and clearance aisle. All I have to say is I know it's exciting, but just because it's on sale or it's on clearance doesn't mean you need it, and it doesn't mean it's a good deal. That's all I have to say about that. Number 21, you may hear some frugal tips talk about be careful about buying in bulk because it may not always be worth it if you can't use the thing in time before it expires. I definitely recommend, if this is the case, think about friends or family that you can split these things with. For instance, you go and buy the ketchup or the mustard. You may not use 3 big bottles of ketchup or mustard from Costco that come in the 3 set, right? Split that with your friends and family. They can pay that portion to you. You all get a good deal, and you're not wasting the money, and you're able to utilize your membership better that way. Number 22 is to have a large pile of what I call towels, reusable towels in the kitchen. When I bought a set of about 30 towels, and 15 of them are the bigger hand towels, and 15 of them are the smaller kind of rag towels, hand towels, I use those so often, and it saves, number one, on paper towels and using them, but also when messes happen, they're right there at my hand. I don't have to go searching in my bin of things that I use for cleaning. These are things we use all the time. We end up using them for napkins sometimes, or to clean up messes that are on the floor. Number 23 is for your fruits and vegetables. Do not keep fruits and vegetables in the same drawers. Not only do they need different humidities, but fruits give off ethylene gas, which actually helps them ripen, but what it does to vegetables is it breaks them down. They will not last as long. Number 24 is be honest with yourself about your wants and your needs. I can talk myself into a lot of things. Many of us can rationalize pretty much anything, but being honest with yourself, being almost a parent to yourself and having to say, no, not today, is definitely a skill to master. So try to stop talking yourself into making a decision that you know is probably not the best. We've got 10 more. Number 25, be the money manager that you would hire to manage your money. What? Think about that. Who would you hire to manage your money? What would that person be like? What would their characteristics? How would they be diligent about managing your money? And try to embody that. Number 26, instead of going out with friends, rotate hosting. Game nights, this is so much fun. I feel like I would rather spend time with friends at somebody's house because you're not rushed, it isn't too loud, the music is crazy at these places, and you definitely don't overpay. You get to enjoy some yummy food from friends, have some laughs, be as loud as you want, and enjoy and have a good time. Number 27 has to do with your 401k, and you can roll this over into savings as well, but it's to gradually increase it. You may be very averse, like, I want to keep my money. No, I need it now. I don't want to wait till, I don't want to do that. Well, okay. Start off with whatever percentage you're already saving. At least have the amount going that you get the match to. So if they match 3%, at least be putting 3% in. But as each year goes by, let's say as open enrollment comes around, if you have that, increase it by 1%. After 3 years, you've increased it by 3%. After 5 years, you've increased it by 5%. At some point, you're going to cut it off at maybe 15% or so. Maybe you do 1% the first year, 2% the second year, 3% the third year. Just try it. Number 28 is research. In this in particular, I'm talking about researching alternatives to expensive budget items that you feel like you want to reduce. So this could be cable TV. So researching streaming service options and what might be good for you in your local area, checking it with other people and see what they've thought of that service. Cell phone, I mean, obviously these are expensive. The coverages can vary. Research the carriers in your area, see who's offering what. There are always good deals to be had, so it might behoove you to switch, making sure that you obviously have researched the carrier. Number 29 is to beware of DIY. This one bit me in the rear end a few years ago when I tried to make my daughter's Halloween costume, and it ended up being way more than I ever would have paid just buying a brand new one. Obviously, there are ways you could do this for a lot cheaper, but sometimes DIYing actually ends up costing you money. So really look at what you're trying to DIY and think about if you could just buy the thing for less. Number 30 is to search for coupons. I'm talking going online, find the manufacturer's website, sending them an email, telling them you love their product. I guarantee you, they would love to see a happy email, and they would very happily send you, if you included your address, some nice coupons. Also, don't hesitate. For instance, we bought some Pop-Tarts, some strawberry iced Pop-Tarts, because sometimes people just need Pop-Tarts, okay? So no judgment here. But you know what happened? One of those Pop-Tarts, the packet of 2, opened it up and there were no sprinkles. No, just icing, no sprinkles. So you know what we did? We emailed the Pop-Tart company, Kellogg's. And you know what happened? They sent us 2 coupons for 2 free boxes of Pop-Tarts. It was fantastic. Just saying. Never hurts to ask. Number 31 is one of my favorite hacks, and it's off-season clearance shopping online. Okay, so here's my hack. When you want to find some good deals, I can't stand going to a department store and going through the clearance racks. It gets on my nerves to go to Marshall's or TJ Maxx and to search through the things that are all different and try to find what I like. I prefer to see things that are like there's 30 of the same thing and it's just the different sizes. I don't know, my brain just likes that better. Online, so much easier, especially this for kids' clothes. So what I do is I go to the clearance section and I search the size that she will be in the next season, because obviously it's going to be, summertime clothes in the winter. And I search the next size that I know she's probably going to be, and you can pretty much usually gauge that. And you filter it down. So if you're looking for shorts and shirts, you filter shorts and shirts, you filter it by that size. And guess what? It gets rid of all the stuff. It gets rid of all the stuff that's not those things. It's fantastic. Use this to your advantage because you can definitely pick up clearance items online for extremely cheap. Maybe you can also double that in with some coupon code that you can find. So there you go. There's my hack. Favorite thing to do. Online clearance shopping. Use the filter button. Number 32 is to have fun money in your budget. Just put some fun money. It doesn't have to be a lot. It can be a nice coffee during the week. It can be getting your nails done once a quarter. It can be just going out and buying some yummy dessert on the weekend. but have some fun money. And the reason is because burnout is real. And if you have a large goal or a large amount of debt that you're trying to plow through, it is very, very consuming and tiresome to constantly live this way and not give any, right? Have a little bit of something to look forward to. It doesn't have to be expensive. Number 33, it's almost growing season. I know here it is almost growing season. I can feel the spring coming. Go ahead and start thinking about a garden. Try to think about how you could garden. Even if you don't have a lot of area, what might work for you? Is there a container garden that you could do? Is there a garden on perhaps you're on a second or third floor apartment? Are there hanging container plants that you can do? Perhaps you do have the availability to put in a garden bed. There is something so fun about growing your own food. You will end up with more food than you will be able to eat. So maybe you can at that point learn about canning and preserving food for the off season, or you can share it with friends and family. Number 34 is to learn to cook from scratch. This is one of my goals for this year. I really want to get more into scratch cooking. So if there are any cookbooks that you recommend, or even YouTube channels that are really about home cook scratch cooking, let me know. Put that down in the comments below. This will save you money. It will keep some of the bad stuff from all the preservatives out of your food, and I'm so excited to incorporate that more in my daily life. Number 35, yes, it's an air fryer. Talking about food, this is one that if you look back years ago on one of my things that I won't buy, the air fryer was on that list. And then one day we just broke down and bought one. It is one of those things that I thought was an unnecessary kitchen gadget. Nope. An air fryer is amazing. I tell you what, my daughter loves chicken nuggets in that thing. It makes crisp French fries. I make delicious balsamic glazed Brussels sprouts in it. And you can go out to eat and actually bring your leftovers home. And you don't have to heat them up in the oven, turn that big thing on, or even the toaster oven or the microwave, which makes them soggy. You wouldn't believe the life that an air fryer breathes back in to some restaurant leftovers. Now, if you have any great tips on how to lower your cost of living, live below your means, put those down in the comments below. I would love to hear them. Don't forget to check out this video or maybe this one before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again here soon.